Australian seniors, homeowners, retirees, and anyone planning retirement, listen very carefully, because what I'm about to explain could affect the roof over your head by 2026. There's a growing fear spreading across Australia right now. Many seniors are asking the same shocking question. Will a new law force older Australians to sell their homes? Is the government about to change the rules that protect the family home? And could thousands of retirees suddenly find themselves asset-rich but cash-poor with no choice but to sell? Today, we cut through the panic, the rumors, the headlines, and the half-truths, and we break down exactly what's changing, what's being proposed, and what every Australian senior must understand before 2026 arrives. This is not fear-mongering. This is clarity. And by the end of this video, you'll know where you stand, what risks are real, and what steps you can take right now to protect yourself. Welcome back to Centrelink Compass AU, the channel where we explain Australia's pension rules, Centrelink updates, and retirement changes in plain English, without the confusion, without the jargon, and without wasting your time. If you or someone you love owns a home and relies on the age pension, this video could be one of the most important you watch this year. Let's start with the biggest misunderstanding. There is currently no law that directly forces Australian seniors to sell their homes. No one is coming to knock on your door and make you sell tomorrow. But here's the part that matters. Several policy changes, reviews, and long-term reforms being discussed right now could indirectly pressure some seniors into selling their homes by 2026 if they are not prepared. And that's where the real danger lies. For decades, the family home has been protected under Australia's age pension rules. Your principal place of residence is exempt from the asset test. That exemption is the reason millions of retirees can own a home worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars and still receive the full or part age pension. This rule has been the backbone of retirement security in Australia. But with an aging population, rising pension costs, and a housing affordability crisis affecting younger generations, the government is under increasing pressure to reassess how fair and sustainable this system really is. By 2026, Australia will have one of the largest retired populations in its history. More people will be claiming the age pension, healthcare costs will continue rising, and the federal budget will feel the strain. At the same time, house prices in many parts of Australia have surged dramatically. This has created a situation where some pensioners live in very high-value homes while receiving taxpayer-funded support. Policymakers are now openly discussing whether the current system should change. One major area under review is how housing wealth is treated in retirement. While no final decision has been made, several proposals have been floated by economists, think tanks, and advisory bodies. These proposals don't say seniors must sell their homes. Instead, they suggest incentives, thresholds, or gradual inclusion of housing value in pension calculations for certain groups. And this is where pressure can quietly turn into force. One idea being discussed is limiting the exemption on very high-value homes. For example, if a home's value exceeds a certain threshold, anything above that level could be partially counted toward the asset test. This wouldn't affect most retirees, but in capital cities and high-growth areas, even modest homes can exceed those values. For seniors who suddenly fail the asset test, the result could be reduced pension payments or complete loss of eligibility. And when income drops, choices shrink. Another proposal involves expanding the use of home equity through schemes like the Home Equity Access Scheme, previously known as the Pension Loan Scheme. This allows seniors to access part of their home's value as income without selling. While voluntary today, some experts believe future governments could strongly encourage or restructure this scheme in ways that make it feel less optional, especially for retirees struggling with living costs. There's also increasing focus on downsizing incentives. The government already offers downsizer contribution rules, allowing older Australians to put money from a home sale into superannuation. While presented as a benefit, critics argue that combined with pension pressures, these incentives subtly push seniors toward selling rather than staying put. When pension rules tighten, downsizing can feel less like a choice and more like survival. Let's talk about cost of living, because this is where theory meets reality. Energy bills, groceries, insurance, council rates, and healthcare costs have risen sharply. For many seniors, the age pension is no longer stretching as far as it used to. If pension eligibility is reduced due to asset rule changes, even slightly, that shortfall has to be filled somehow. And for homeowners without savings, the house becomes the only option left. This is why people are saying seniors may be forced to sell their homes, not by law, but by financial pressure created through policy shifts. When income support drops and expenses rise, selling becomes the last lever available. Now, here's the critical part that most headlines ignore. Any major change to the treatment of the family home would almost certainly include grandfathering provisions. That means existing pensioners may be protected under old rules, while new retirees face different conditions. Australia has used this approach many times before, but that doesn't mean everyone is safe. People planning to retire between now and 2026 need to pay very close attention. If you're in your late 50s or early 60s, the rules you expect to retire under may not be the rules that actually apply when you qualify for the age pension. That's the group most at risk of being caught in the middle, not rich enough to self-fund retirement, but too asset-heavy to qualify under tightened rules. Let's clear up another myth. This is not about punishing seniors. It's about sustainability. The government is facing a demographic reality where fewer workers are supporting more retirees. At the same time, younger Australians are locked out of homeownership. Balancing these pressures is politically explosive, which is why changes are slow, indirect, and often introduced quietly. So what should Australian seniors actually do right now? First, don't panic. Panic leads to bad decisions. No law has been passed forcing home sales. Second, stay informed. Changes rarely happen overnight. They are signaled years in advance through reviews, budget papers, and consultation reports. Channels like Centrelink Compass AU exist, so you don't miss those signals. Third, understand your own position. Know the value of your home, your superannuation balance, and how close you are to asset and income test thresholds. Small changes can have big effects. Fourth, explore options early. Downsizing, accessing equity, or restructuring finances is far less stressful when done on your own terms, not under pressure. And finally, seek advice. A licensed financial advisor or Centrelink Financial Information Service Officer can help you understand how proposed changes might affect you personally. This is especially important if you're planning retirement within the next few years. Let me say this clearly. The Australian government is unlikely to ever openly say seniors must sell their homes. That would be political suicide. But indirect pressure through policy adjustments is far more likely. And those changes tend to affect people who aren't paying attention. That's why this conversation matters now, not in 2026 when it's too late to plan. Knowledge is protection. Preparation is power. If this video helped you understand what's really happening behind the headlines, make sure you like it, because that helps other seniors find this information. Subscribe to Centrelink Compass AU so you don't miss future updates on pension rules, Centrelink changes, and retirement planning in Australia. And comment below. Do you think the family home should stay exempt forever, or do you believe changes are inevitable? Your voice matters, and this conversation is only just beginning. Until next time, stay informed, stay prepared, and remember, clarity beats fear every single time.